Welcome to the Frontline podcast, brought to you in association with the Atla Group. Atla Group is a collaboration of businesses with a collective history of over 130 years, bringing financial solutions to its clients in the world of accountancy, audit, advisory, fiduciary and retirement benefit solutions. Visit atla.im today. On the Frontline podcast, we chat to leaders in business and successful entrepreneurs to bring you their in-depth and bite-sized opinions that will add value to you and your mind.
Clara, thanks for joining me today. Much appreciated.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. So to give our listeners a bit of background to yourself and setting up Recycle Collect.
Yeah, so bit of background about myself, actually, not really waste management. My background is finance. So I've been an accountant for 12 years, qualified when I was 21 years old, lived on the Isle of Man, trained on the Isle of Man. And so I am a numbers gal through and through. And I only recently kind of entered the world of recycling and waste management at the start of 2021. So it might not seem like it goes hand in hand, and to be honest with you, it probably didn't, but it's been, absolutely incredible kind of going from one to another. And I also think it lends itself, if we weren't from this background, would we get to where we are today with Recycle?
What put you on that path?
Well, originally accountancy. Uh-huh. So I kind of went to school here, lived here all my life, and I'm going to blame my dad. So he'd said, I was like, oh, Dad, I'm really good at maths and, that's what I want to do. And he was like, well, I think accountant's a good idea. I was like, yeah, accountant's a great idea. I probably was 15. And when someone just says something to me, yeah, this is what, I'm like, yeah, go, full guns a-blazing. Sat my GCSEs, sat my A-levels, and knew that I had to get like a certain A-level to get in at somewhere on the Isle of Man to train over here. And I'd applied for a couple of places, and one of the places I actually applied is now part of the Atla Group, which is straight full circle. And I'd started to work there straight from A-levels, and I was just kind of heart so into it. When I tell myself I'm going to do something, I'm 100% going to do it. And so I did. I started training when I was 18 years old, and committed to the course. Still here today, fighting accountant.
And there must have been, I assume, some point you talked about starting it in 21, during 20, that triggered this path.
Yeah, so I absolutely love what I do. I love being an accountant. And that might sound weird also, but it's not. Like, I absolutely love it. I've always loved working in the finance sector. And what we kind of done, I worked at Conister Bank for the past 6 years, and we've always had this kind of green mentality, always so far ahead of the game. They're just really want to do the best, and I was part of that committee, the ESG committee, and we'd started doing a bit of research, and as I started doing research, I go more and more into it, and that's kind of where it's like, right, we are missing something here on the island. Why does no one have recycling at their kind of front door? And then it wasn't until I kind of went home and said to my husband, look, this is what I've learned today, what do you reckon of this? He's like, yeah, it could be done. And I'm like, okay, well, let's do it. And he's, we're both accountants, so as you can imagine, we're life and soul of the parties. But he was like, yeah, well, let's pop a business plan together. If you can make it viable, let's do it. Show me it. And I did. That's exactly what I did. I'd gone full throttle into it. I'd gone into work at Conister, said to my MD, what do you think of this? And he's like, brilliant, do it, absolutely. And it snowballed from there. Something I did not expect would be so big has literally engulfed my life to the point now that I don't work at Conister anymore. I am solely focused on kind of setting up Recycle, which, big life change.
So talk to us a little bit about how that's running, I suppose, how that's set up, where you're working on the Isle of Man, where you're collecting, etc.
Yeah, so the way that I'm very, very fortunate, my husband is this incredibly talented human who is the strange combination of accountant and web developer. So he was the one who Everyone's like, never heard of one of them before, but Andy is that, and he is who set up basically my system for Recycle. And the way it works is it's online. So I think if you want some people to do something, you make it easy. But if you really want someone to do something, like, you make it really easy. And that's what we've tried to do with Recycle is, okay, these are our skills. What can we do to make it easy for the Isle of Man? And we've set up this online platform. It's all my management under one roof kind of thing. It's where people can sign up online. It's where they've got their own little user dashboard. They get reminders of the next collection. Like, it is kind of moving waste management forward with the modern times. And at the moment we've rolled that out on so many places now, but we're up north at Ramsey, then we're down south, Ballasalla, Ballabeg, Port Erin, Port St Mary, Castletown, then we are Santon, Onken, Laxey, Lonnon, Kirkmichael. I think that's all. I can remember them all.
So much like that, I suppose bin collections are set dates. Similar, you just manage it through through your waste management system on the website.
We're every fortnight, so we keep it structured. Everyone has like a calendar online, and what that little calendar has is when your next collection dates are, and when we have collected, we kind of stamp people as we've arrived and picked it up, or if we have picked it up and there's a little note, we can leave a little note for them. So when they log on, then they go to their collection dates, they'll see all the...
Stop putting glass in plastics, please.
Basically, yeah. Or, please can you rinse this out? Or, sorry, we haven't collected your soft plastics, And I think that's important because it's an easy way to help educate people. And as I said, if you want people to do it, you have to make it easy for them. And that's kind of what we want to do.
So where's that different waste going? Are you working with the people at the other end, I guess, to recycle it?
So we've got a couple of different streams. So at the moment, we're taking all our cardboard, paper, plastic and cans down to Douglas Borough Council. And what they're doing is they're packaging up and sending it to different places in the UK. Our glass is going to Corlets and Peel. Our cartons are going to Isle of Man Creameries. So the Isle of Man Creameries are recycling their cartons. I think there's a place in Halifax that does the cartons. So everywhere's going to different places, which it started off quite, like a straightforward disposal route. But I think if you really want to do the best, you have to offer as many as you can. And so we've tried to provide like a full range of services. But with that comes different disposal routes.
Do you have to use the much sort of filtration your end? You collect the boxes, obviously you'd like to think they're in the right boxes all the time, but I assume there's some manual process in there.
Yeah, not all, people are learning, and it's always difficult when you first start. You don't know what goes where, and so each box is clearly labelled of what goes in each one. As soon as we've delivered a box, a user will get like an automatic kind of email confirmation, and it gives them a detail of how it's working, and you can click on a little link then that sends you to, it's like a picture basically. It says this goes in this box, this goes in this box, please don't put this in here, please don't put this in there. And then kind of next time everyone's started to improve. It's a matter of learning, but for us then it's super easy when someone's got it nice and neat in the right boxes. But it's part of the job. If it's not, we do have to manually filter it out. But our van is split into separate compartments. So in kind of one section is your glass, one section is your cardboard and paper, your cartons are completely separated. Then you've got your cans and plastics in another section. So each disposal stream has its own section in the van. So we have to manually split out the glass and paper, which is super easy. We just ask people, make sure you don't have smashed glass in there, because if you're rummaging through, you
slice your hand.
Yeah, health and safety for our collectors. Cans and plastics, you can tell really when you open a box, and it's become like so ingrained as when you open the box, you'll be able to see
Yeah.
We're so clued up now on what's got a number 1 on it, a 5 on it, you know, a 2 on it, and what's a PET, what's not, what's soft plastics. And there is an element of manual, but you'll find as you go along and people start to learn, it becomes a lot easier.
Okay. So there's obviously a couple of elements in regard to it's a business at the end of the day. I know you've got corporates helping.
Yes.
I presume from sponsoring vans to, I know we've helped with some bins. Perhaps talk a little bit about how corporates can help.
Yeah, which it's vital, really. You know, for us, we started out essentially funding it for ourselves. Yes, we have had no honeymoon since we got married and things, and you know, it did escalate very quickly, and so the help of corporate sponsors has just really jollied that on for us, which has been. It's been vital. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
And how can they help you? What ways?
So we've got kind of 2 separate sponsorship routes. So one is having a corporate sponsor our boxes. So they are mad expensive for boxes. Like after there was all this like resource shortage in the UK, like recycled plastic boxes, crazy expensive and hard to get. So we have, you know, a few corporates sponsoring them, which enables us to give them to people basically.
Okay.
And then also we have people sponsoring our vans. So, you know, vans come with a hefty price, but we're super, super proud.
Fuel.
Oh, honestly, it is. I didn't appreciate at first how much it all would have been until I took it to each business plan involved, where I was like, whoa, this is an expensive game to play in. Like, I am going to need some help. And that's exactly what I've got.
But I presume when you look at those vans, ultimately they're moving billboards, aren't they? For potential advertisers.
And they're brilliant. They look great when they're all got their corporate tattoos on them. They're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And we have actually just bought another van, which... I can't believe how quick this all moves for us. We bought one van back in April and ready for our first collections in September. We've got another van arriving this summer. And as the fleet keeps evolving, like we keep needing more sponsorship to make this kind of happen. And it's definitely, it's definitely getting there and something we're super grateful for.
And individuals then wanting boxes is how does that? Do they just ring up, get a box? They need to buy a box, etc. How does that all work?
So it's all included in the price.
Okay. So
for 2 standard boxes, the price is £8.65 a month, and a customer will get 2 boxes of that. They'll have your kind of corporate branding on one side, and then they'll have your recycle collect and what goes in each box on the other. We can actually provide a subscription up to 5 boxes. So now that we're doing cartons, we've got options on the checkout page. For an extra £1 a month, you can have an extra box. And then we've obviously got the cartons box now, which we're doing with the Isle of Man creameries. So they log on online, do their little register now, and they'll get an email activation. And that says, create your account. Once you've created, we'll drop your boxes.
What's the uptake? Obviously, you've said it's super crazy busy, the uptake and the feedback. How's that been?
So when I first started, I did not expect so many people to come on board. Then out of nowhere, I had like 500 people registering their interest, which doesn't always materialise into, customers. But it was great for us to know, like, okay, this is a go. We've almost got 1,000 people who've registered interest now. Not everyone has yet followed through or had their area being released. We're collecting for 450 people, which is beyond my wildest dreams. We've only been collecting for 3-4 months. And I'm just ready to keep seeing it go and go and go. I keep having little targets, and every time I hit one, I'm going to the next, because ultimately I want to roll the service out to the rest of the island. So Douglas and Braddon are the only people on the Isle of Man who actually get this included in their rates. So you can look at it 2 ways. Like, a lot of people, when it first went out, were like, oh, she's never going to do it, or, how's she going to afford that? And I think, like, oh, don't worry about me. Like, I've kind of forecast this to the hills. I've got some incredible support.
I was going to say it's a good way to think about it, because I think when you naturally just say you need to subscribe and we'll take your rubbish away, and most people with any friction in the world, human nature is to the path of least friction.
Yeah.
We'll just be, I'll throw it in my bin. But if you think about it, ultimately, if you're throwing it in a bin, you're paying it because you're paying it by your rates. This is just in those other parishes.
There's definitely a disconnect, like of people not appreciating that. Okay, if you do want to do right by the planet, you know, there is going to be a slight cost for it. Nothing comes for free, and that's the be all and end all. But kind of in my eyes, I see a future world as, well, if you're having your recycling collected fortnightly, you have your bins collected fortnightly, and what you pay your bin men, you should pay your recycle men. And really, in an ideal world, would it be much more expensive? I'm not sure, because I've not ever got to that kind of extremes yet, and I don't know anyone yet who has got to that point. And I understand there's different implications and maybe that I'm not aware of, but in my rose-tinted glasses, that's where I'd like to see it going.
So you mentioned there about some boroughs collecting it. Have you spoken in this journey with either government and or parishes? Is that as a dialogue?
Yeah, well, I'm very grateful that my dad actually works in Braddon, which has been a massive help. And the guys at Douglas Borough Council, super informative, super helpful, really helped educate me. I've had some incredible support. I can't deny. You know, I've learned a lot from them, how their system works. It's been unbelievable. And I have engaged in conversation with other parishes across the Isle of Man to say, look, like, I'm here and I really want to help you. I think now it's just trying to convince people that this is the right thing to do. You know, I can save the tonnage, the waste tonnage that people are paying, ultimately if I have complete buy-in from people. But it's encouraging people to get there. There will probably be an element of additional cost to start with until you can really make an impact. And that's what I want to, you know, say to people, like, listen, this is the right thing to do. And I know it comes at a small additional cost. And I say small because I've got this little way I think I can work it with our capabilities, that I don't want to overexert anyone. Like, I want this to be affordable for people.
It's 2 coffees.
Yeah.
Nothing, is it?
And that's hard for some people to think, you know. And I think, well, if there's someone who can't afford it, I need people to help those people be able to afford it, you know, things like that. It'll get there. And, you know, there are some very talented people working in the government, in local parishes, who have dealt with waste management, who I've spoken with, and it's a matter of kind of using what they've helped, you know, teach me to get this rolled out.
So you mentioned waste tonnage. Have you got some stats on the type of and amounts that we're burning at the moment that we shouldn't be? Or more importantly, you're recycling? So
at the moment, we're collecting, well, our recent collection for the whole month of December, we collected 6,000 kilograms of recyclables, which is mad, but half of that is glass. So you can imagine super heavy. Doesn't burn, glass doesn't burn. It is better off being recycled straight from the offset rather than increasing your waste tonnage when it's not going to get burnt anyways. Then the next kind of, this is highly burnable and so much better being recycled, is your paper and cardboard. So there's almost 2,000 kilograms this month of cardboard we've collected. And then,
I must say, on the cardboard front, I always imagine with the Amazons of these world now,
so
much stuff gets delivered.
HelloFresh, I'd say cardboard is probably the most popular recycle collect. Like, there is so many people using cardboard, but that's great because we can, you know, it's easily recyclable and it's also super valuable cardboard. So about 2,000 kilograms of cardboard, and then about 1,000 kilograms of plastic and cans. So as you can imagine, if you are taking them out of a burnable stream, great. And I know some people, you know, were probably taking them to banks anyways, but there's not plastic banks everywhere on the Isle of Man. And, you know, there are glass banks, and I was doing that myself originally, taking things to banks. It didn't encourage me because people might interpret it as lazy, but I'm going to interpret it as I was a busy working woman. You know, when I come home and I've got 2 days to rest, I spend one day doing chores and recycling, and then I have a day to rest, but then the next day I'm back at work. And sometimes, like, you have to respect that people are busy people nowadays. People have families. A lot of our customers have a disability, or they've got really busy family lives. They've got busy work lives, and to be honest with you, a lot of people just are like, this needs to happen. This is the right way to go. So taking it out of the waste stream or taking it out of recycle banks, wherever it's doing, it's making it easier for people. And it's nice to see like the trend of it's going up because people are learning more. Oh, I can recycle that. I'll put it in the box. And it's steadily increasing. And I think it's by making it so easy for people. Yeah,
no, it's a wonderful initiative. And I suppose just to then recap, if corporates are listening, reach out, see if they can help.
Yes,
individuals. We've all got to take a responsibility for the planet in some format and do our little bit. And while we all probably think our little life is just a tiny speck of that, if we all do a little bit, it's a little way. So register interest, I guess, through the website, which is
www.recyclecollect.im.
Okay.
It's, I think, same with the corporates. I'd kind of envisaged if I can get as many people on board, like that gives us a lot of kind of power and a show of hands that look at how many of us are coming together to say, hello, this is what we need. And that's kind of where we're getting to at the moment. Super grateful for everyone who's helping us out so far.
Great. Thanks for coming in, giving us some background.
Thank you.
And good luck with it.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everyone.